It was fast, swift, and still slightly surprising the Patriots did cut bait with Antonio Brown on Friday, just 48 hours before the Jets come here to take on the Patriots. The final straw seemed to be those texts that Antonio Brown sent to one of his two accusers that she found intimidating, she found threatening. And I think the difference with this accusation is it happened when he was actually wearing a Patriots uniform. It didn't come from before.
That's the issue, Doug, and that's why this is so infuriating, and I'm glad that they did the right thing here. Think about this, folks. You come in-house, and really the ethic that we've always kind of sort of at least fallen behind or believed in here is that Belichick will take yours and he won't allow them to do the things that maybe brought him to your doorstep. The ethic is high here. Now, if you've done things in other places, he's not going to deal with that. If you come here, put football first, and do your thing, you can be welcomed here and be a part of this. But the only issue is once you are here and you fall short of that standard, now we have a problem. So understand this. They walked him in. They've certainly sat him down and said, hey, this is the standard. This is what you got to live to. And he's out there on a Wednesday night after a practice against a division foe, starting a text chain. This is so ridiculous. You will never hear a piece of news like this in the next 20 years of Patriots coverage. Starts a text chain while under investigation, throws his attorney on it and the female accuser and a bunch of other males and throws a picture of his kids on there. That is how you lose $9 million in the NFL in an instant. And I love it. That's how it should be. These are not things that you should get away as a Patriot or even a member of this league at all. So the personal conduct policy still may come after him now that he's gone, and I certainly hope it does, because that's intimidation. It doesn't matter. You start that text chain, you don't put anything on that text chain but hi and the woman's name, and that's intimidation. There's no other reason to have done it. That's just not acceptable, and I'm very proud of the organization for doing the right thing now when they had to.
The NFL is still going to investigate Antonio Brown, so before he signs with another team, if another team is even willing to sign him. But it's interesting, you kind of mentioned a clean slate for Antonio Brown when he comes in here. Tom Brady was asked about that today, about you come in with a clean slate, at what point does that become unclean? And Tom Brady was asked 5 questions about Antonio Brown today. This was before it was released. Tom Brady did not actually mention Brown once. He didn't even reference him once. I thought that Bill Belichick's news conference this morning was also interesting. One thing that Bill said, just to kind of lead off the news conference, that he said the team would be investigating. The team would be looking into what Brown did on Wednesday night by sending those texts. He wasn't saying that's an NFL issue. He wasn't trying to skate by on that one. He was addressing it, and he did walk off the news conference. He was asked 5 questions about Antonio Brown. He didn't really handle them, but I did think that one piece was interesting, that he was willing to say that the Patriots will look into this.
So, Doug, you bring up a great point there, and understand the context of this day. It is Friday. Now, there's a 53-man roster. One of the guys has been a colossal pain in the ass for other people. You brought him in town, and he's trying to stay on the straight and narrow, but you now understand that he's not doing it. And you've come to the facility early in the morning. You've gotten the news like everyone else off Twitter. You're having your media relations guy try to put this fire out. You got to come to the podium, but you also have to put together a practice plan. It's Friday. 48 hours from now, you play a division game. So the reason this matters is because on these division games, or any game, you have to put a practice plan together that puts in certain repetitions. So you're only going to get a certain amount of time, 30 plays of offense, 30 plays of defense, 7-on-7, red zone stuff, 2-minute drive, 4-minute drive. The point is, this stuff is all scripted. If all of a sudden one of those guys that's heavily involved in your game plan isn't, the game plan is screwed. So this is a bomb for the coaching staff. It's not just a bomb for media relations. It's not just a bomb for the teammates. So when Tom Brady's got to come to the podium, and even when you guys were out there at practice, standing on the hill, watching, taking attendance, and saying, well, Antonio's here. Maybe they're going to fly through with this thing. What they have to know as they're going through that practice is there's a risk assessment. This guy might not be here. We need to trash it. We need to go through this as if he's not. And when they come out of that thing and release a statement later, it makes me think, plus when Tom's then talking to you at that moment, that they knew, or they knew that maybe the veteran leaders had gotten together. There's a leadership council, guys that come and talk to coach on this. And that text message stuff with kids stuff and trying to threaten a woman, however over the top you consider those threats, it's too serious. And it makes you have to say, enough with that. We need to plan for our game. Be gone, and let's do our thing.
Throwing a wrench in those plans of planning around having Antonio Brown is that Fullback James Devlin is not playing in this
Yeah.
game. Both of the Patriots tight ends, Matt Lacoste and Ryan Izzo, both injured. So the Patriots need wide receivers in this game.
Yeah.
Fortunately for them, they do have Philip Dorsett, who's been in the system for 3 years. He's been a productive player, so he would be the immediate guy who has to step up as that number 3 wide receiver behind Julian Edelman and Josh Gordon. And then moving forward, I mean, certainly they're not in the same shape as they were with Antonio Brown in the offense, but they've got Jacoby Myers, they've got Gunnar Olszewski. Then on the back burner, they've got N'Keal Harry on injury reserve. He can come back in week 9. They've got Cameron Meredith on the PUP list. He's been a productive player in the NFL. He can come back in week 7. So they still are in good shape at that receiver position, but there is a little bit more uncertainty now with Brown gone.
Yeah, they were exceptional. Now they're awfully damn good. And I mean, I think that's a great position to be in this league at any position group. The first 3 that go out are really, really good. You know, you love Josh Gordon, you love Julian Edelman, you love that Dorsett has been playing out of his mind. He is a real pro, a great third receiver, can really be a 2 for a lot of people. And then beyond that, you have youth, and Jacoby Myers is a real up-and-coming guy. He's earned reps. 4 receiver sets don't come up a lot in the NFL, but in the event that they do, this is a guy who's earned his right to be on the field, and it's going to be exciting to watch him grow. Beyond that, as you mentioned, you have a first-rounder later on in the year, and potentially Cameron Meredith, if he's healthy to go as well. There's a lot there. You look around the NFL, there's a lot of people with some maybe comparable 1-2s, but the 1-2-3 of this group is still exceptionally strong. The 1-2-3-4 is something to really feel good about, especially when the 5th is a first rounder. So nothing to be concerned about. This wide receiver group is strong. It's a 30-point deficit team against the Steelers. There is nothing to be concerned about with this offense. Let them grow. Maybe there's a bump or 2 working their way out of the game plan hit that they took this week because this guy drug himself through the week. But now, from this point forward, I think there's a breath of fresh air. I think they now see the path forward.
And Harry and Meredith, by the way, have been around the facility a lot. They've been going to those meetings. We see them in the locker room every day, so they've certainly been involved. Other news of the day, just real quick, like I said, Devlin is out for this game, so maybe you see Jakob Johnson take up that roster spot. He's on the practice squad. We did talk to Dante Scarnecchia, who really clarified the offensive line. He said that Marshall Newhouse will be sticking at left tackle. It's going to be Tooney at left guard, Ted Karras at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and then if it's not Marcus Cannon at right tackle, it'll be Corey Cunningham.
Yeah, and that job alive on game day, we'll be really looking to see if Marcus is ready to go. But stability. Possibly the same 5 you saw in the other day, or a change at right tackle, but I think that's the way to roll. From this point forward, this Jets game on, we start to get to see what this group is going to look like and start to get to work on some continuity.
And Coach Scar did seem very confident in the players that he does have on that offensive line.
Are you aware that Coach Scarnecchia coaches the offensive line, not the receiver group? He reminded us that today, and I'm glad he did.